sun go down, we run the city. Fear the angels, but the demons with me. When the sun go down, best believe it. Slamming through the streets is undefeated. When the sun go down, ooh, it get wild, baby, wild, baby, wild, baby.
Don't you ever try to move me. You best salute me. It's in the bloodstream. We're feeling like a douche. The compound, the lesson, the lies, the deception, the FBI's weapons, the punishment, detention. And I just want to free you from this slave shit. So murder is the case that we're faced with.
When the sun go down.
All right, Ruthless fans, yeah, if you saw my lengthy video about the timeline, you know that this episode review was pushed back due to the fact that I need to spend time working on that. That was like 36 hours of work, so hope you enjoyed the video. But for this one, we're doing the episode review for episode 4, Waiting for Tomorrow. A very strong episode, to say the least. 8 out of 10 off the bat. This was a great episode. So the highest picks up where we left off. Okay, actually, let me say this. The highest picks up where we left off at the ending of episode 3. Pretty much, the people are preparing for the sheriff arriving tomorrow to check the place out. But we also get to him once again congratulating Ruth for her new role as an elder over the other women. And now she must beat Tally as discipline in front of her daughter, even though technically she is a daughter of the Rakadushi. She's no longer your child. And she can't fight back because it'll be worse. And her daughter needs to, well, Tally's air quote daughter needs to learn what happens to those who are disobedient and bring shame to the family. And yeah, I'm with Tally on this one. I thought I was already punished. Like, what's going on? It's like literally, remember after Andrew had brought in Ruby and Callie, it was said that, Callie, you need to be taken away. I mean, Tally. Yeah, Tally. See, I get the names mixed up. Tally be taken away, and then that's when she was being kicked and punched and everything. Yeah, well, why the hell I gotta get beat again? I wouldn't make it a fuss anyway. I mean, hell, if you're gonna beat me again, I might as well speak my mind. So, yeah, Tally gets it. That was messed up. I mean, literally, can you imagine getting your ass beaten and then people cheering? I don't know. This place is weird. But here's the thing. This was one of the first times we saw like a different piece of the highest, his personality. He seemed more like in your face and kind of like throwing his power around. Like, did you hear what I said? As opposed to being the subdued kind of leader that he's been the past 2 episodes 2 and 3. And I'm not saying this makes me dislike him. I'm just saying like, oh, this is the first time we're kind of seeing that side of him. All right, so then Stephanie arrives home. Wait. Oh, my bad. Sarah. I put down the actress's name, Stephanie Charles. It's Sarah. I'm sorry. Sarah arrives home, and we find out that her housekeeper is actually her cousin, Stacy. Asking why where Keith was, their son. And pretty much, she's kind of like, hey, the check bounced. Sarah is confused by this. And apparently we find out later in the episode that all their accounts have been drained. So kids are running around the parking lot getting fresh air. So if you hear any people outside the window, that's what it is. So Keith is upset that, dad isn't home. What's going on? My birthday soon. I'm about to be 8 years old. You can tell me what's going on. And then he's upset about it. So basically, Sarah's, confused about the accounts and like what's going on because she checks her phone and she goes off and says, hey, can you stay here for another hour? I'll be right back. And we know that later she goes to the Mac's office right when he's about to leave work. So we have the sheriff who had said that he would be going to the Rakadushi compound in the morning, calling Mac. Brian will meet up with him sometime tomorrow, and to keep it under wraps because his deputies don't know about, some random deputy coming out of town being with the FBI. Basically, people around that area are kind of nosy, but this is something that needs to be kept, close to them. That way there's no kind of that way their undercover operation isn't compromised by outside forces. So by 8 a.m. tomorrow, Brian needs to come up to meet with the sheriff before the other deputies show up at like 10 a.m. So we can assume they're heading up to the compound around maybe 10:30, but sometime before noon the next day. Because, well, the title of the episode is called Waiting for Tomorrow. We have Malcolm arriving in the office, letting Mac know that, hey, Sarah's here, and lets her know about the situation about all their money from their saving, checking, 401k is gone. She wants to see her husband immediately. Mac is like, hey, we need to be careful about this. You'll ruin it if you go looking for him. And he's like, hey, we can actually give you his next check. Well, hey, his last 3 checks have not been cashed. So Sarah is upset because Mac has never before been this, I guess you could say, secretive in regards to Andrew's whereabouts. I mean, if anything else, if you ask me, it's almost like, Mac may have a personal stake in all this himself. I mean, yes, you could believe the reasoning that this is a very sensitive case, so we absolutely cannot make any mistakes, especially with one of our best, Andrew, possibly being compromised. However, I don't know. I think the cult may have done something to Mac or somebody he knows, and that's why he's definitely gunning to bring them down more than he usually is. Because like Sarah said, you're usually not this cold. So to me, that indicates that in past undercover situations, Sarah has, for the most part, known her husband's whereabouts to an extent. So I do think Mac may have been affected by the cult at some point. That's my own personal theory there. Then Malcolm, tries to kind of, I guess you could say, not put Brian down, but make the point like he is obviously too emotionally invested because of his wife. Sarah might be a problem because of her devotion to her husband. So maybe I should go in. Maybe I should go up and see with the sheriff. And Mac's like, no, we're going to get Brian to do it. Then he leaves the office. Malcolm looks over some paperwork. So for all we know, Malcolm might actually pop up at the office to be the deputy before Brian does. Who knows? We don't know yet. But moving on, Tally's still locked away. Well, yeah, because remember after, getting beat. Well, actually, sorry, we pick up at the beating. She's dragged away by her hair, then locked up. Tally and Andrew are talking. He wants to help her leave, and then it says, hey, you need to be quiet till the morning. When the sheriff comes, you must be quiet or you're going to end up dead. So he pretty much tries to promise her like, hey, we'll figure something out in the morning, but you got to promise me you'll make it to the morning. Even though technically within the timeline of the Oval, Tally should somehow get out tonight and then make it to Nancy's house. And I've already done that lengthy video. Go reference that. Daikon calls Andrew over after he comes out of the storage compound and pretty much smells his manhood, because literally I would be asking questions. Why I gotta pull down my pants in the broad daylight? I mean, not to say I would want to do that in a dark place with Daikon, but at the same time, it's like, why I gotta do this? So basically, it's like, I can smell if you've been with a woman. Wait, what? Okay. But he just wanted to make sure Andrew wasn't violating a female or anything like that, and to never being there that long again. So, I mean, if I were Andrew, I would have been like, well, I just wanted to make sure she understood, hey, when that sheriff comes in the morning, you need to be quiet or there's going to be trouble. I mean, that's what I would have said in that situation to really drive home the point. Like, look, I was in there a long time to make sure she understood, because if she does anything to screw this up, then the whole compound could be in trouble. So that's what I would have said. But I understand what Daikon said. Don't be in there that long again. Oh yeah, one of the mothers brings Ruth a cup in preparation for the coordination, because it would make the coordination even better for her. Which, remember, Ruth may have been going back to what Tally was saying in regards to, hey, don't drink anything, don't eat anything unless you prepare it yourself. Also, she's feeling bad about everything that happened to Tally, but the mother's like, hey, you're above that now, you're an elder. So pretty much, she's getting ready for the coordination. And then we have Lynn and Brian getting home from the hospital. She's obviously upset, but she is being very cold towards him. And while she goes to the restroom, because she feels like she's being interrogated by Brian, she's having flashbacks to her journey with the highest. So it seems like she still has that stuck in her head. Then we go to Tally and her daughter bringing her some bread, and just wanted to say, I love you, but just make sure you behave, that way you don't get punished. And then right before Tally could get an answer, because she's like, so what are you eating? What are they giving you to drink? Daikon runs her off. And then he goes in there to, take away the bread and leave Tally a blubbering mess on the floor. All right, so then we get to Stacy catching Sarah in her bedroom, tearing the place apart. asking again about the money. She gets some jewelry to pawn, even though she would prefer money instead. And she's not telling Stacy what's going on. So basically, you know, Sarah's freaking out. What she finds is a receipt and calls the company with the watch. So basically, this is going to be used to track Andrew's location. I believe this was a gift from a couple of years ago, and this could possibly lead to her finding Andrew at the compound, which is not a good thing. So maybe Sarah shows up to the compound tomorrow morning around the same time as the sheriff. I don't know. Maybe the sheriff and Deputy Brian or Malcolm come out of the compound saying, oh, everything's good to go. And then she's like, no, my husband's in there. Wait, what? So yeah, that could possibly be something that leads to some trouble. Andrew goes to see the highest, and it turns out, you know, he wants to see Andrew's body, not his physical body minus the clothing, but he wants him to take off his mask. He wants to read his soul and everything, and pretty much, hey, take my seed, and that leads to what happens at the end of the episode. And I love the reference to, you say sir a lot. Were you in the military? Oh yeah, the military, Marines, I forget which one, but I just like the fact that they made a nod to that, because it really is funny. Because if you remember the Oval, how many times they say sir or ma'am in a single episode. So I think that was pretty funny. Then we have, yeah, he's one of the 7 rings. Okay, so then we have Mac and Brian talk. Yeah, Mac comes over to Brian's house talking about, you know, is Lynn okay? Yeah, Lynn's asleep, and lets her know to be up there by 8 a.m. to meet with the local sheriff. Brian will go up, you know, early in the morning. He'll leave around 5-ish in the morning from where they live in order to make it to Rockwell, Virginia in time. And he just wants to make sure, you know, is Lynn okay? I mean, is it possible she's compromised with Brian? Vouch is like, no, she's fine. She's fine. I'll check up on her, but I will check up on her. And, you know, Brian goes check on her, but she's awake. She says she's okay with moving close to the location, seemingly wanting to get back in the cult. So, yeah, I did a video on that separately. You can check it out when I post to the channel. Okay, so we get to the end of the episode. Ruth is being taken to the coordination. She needs to take the seeds of the 7 rings in order to become an elder. She needs to also ensure she has a daughter for the highest, which, look, I get the dude wants a specific gender, but I don't think there's a way to control that. Again, I don't think there is anyway. But in any case, you have Andrew going first, and that's the end of the episode. Well, yeah, like Ruth, I would have been like, under the assumption I would be with you, but it's like, you can't lay with the pure. I think that the highest went through some when he was in jail, and then that's why he doesn't want to mess around with women, but I don't know. All I'm saying is, yeah, I would think the same thing. Is like, nobody said it was 7, even though Tally tried to tell your ass when it was just you 2 alone, but man, yeah, that was a crazy ending. But waiting for tomorrow, waiting for tonight. Oh. Wait, isn't that a Jennifer Lopez song? Yeah. Or is it Ready for Tonight? I don't know. But either way, Waiting for Tomorrow gets an 8 out of 10. It was a great episode. This show is getting crazier and crazier. I just really wish we had like a trailer like next on the Oval, or, you know, something like that during the end credit scene. But we don't get any of that. The screen turns black and that's it. But let me know your thoughts on episode 4. Guys, seriously, check out Ruthless on BET Plus if you haven't done so already, even though I know a lot of you probably wait for it to be uploaded to YouTube, and honestly I don't blame you, because $9.99 a month is a lot, but hey, who am I to judge? So make sure you like this video, subscribe, because, well, it's free. Literally, my channel's free, YouTube is free. So make sure, if you're watching Ruthless on here, or if you're mad about paying $9.99 for BET Plus, it's free for you to hit subscribe and the bell notification icon, so when I post content, you know when it's here. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up, and check me out on social media. Links are in the description below.